Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope that whenever and wherever you are going slow when it comes to communications. We only have a couple more days left, but this is a time for a lot of tension and miscommunication and people getting confused and not able to function in a way in which they're understanding anyone else or even themselves. Also, it's a time of high emotion during Mercury retrograde. Luckily, though, we just finished the eclipse season. We don't have another eclipse until I think it's either November or December. I think it's more in December. So we're kind of done with that for a while. Mercury will be going direct at 11:11. Woohoo! I think it was 11:11 Eastern time on August 2nd. Thank God. And on at 3:11, I think it is on August 1st over in Europe. Some I don't know what time zone. I forgot now. But there's been a lot of memory issues, a lot of tinnitus with extra tones in our ears in the past 24 hours. What else? Just kind of not really being mentally clear, Also, I've noticed there's been a lot more in people I've spoken to lately. There's been a lot more like wearing your heart on your sleeve and feeling hurts from past things that happened, whether it was from past loves or things from childhood. A lot of people are thinking about ways in which they were hurt and not feeling like not wanting to risk it again. So there's a lot of that going around. So we're kind of working on healing that. A lot of mild illnesses, but we learned last night how to heal that. But I can't believe today is Tarot Tuesday, and I put that yesterday because it passed midnight, and I'm like, oh darn, it's Tuesday, I've got to put Tarot Tuesday. I can't believe I did that. That's so crazy. So I went back and I changed the title of my show. I was having so much hard time uploading it. Like, it was uploading was fine, but then when I went to put in the description, my phone was messing up. I had to shut it off, turn it back on, like with the app, and then I think with the phone possibly. It was pretty crazy. Like, every night there's been some kind of technical difficulties. And then after all of it was said and done, and I got all the description written and everything was great, and then I just put the wrong title. Anyway, tonight is Tarot Tuesday. Tonight we're going over the major arcana. We're going to go over, I think, 4 of the major arcana cards. So let's see here. I wanted to quickly get through this because, the other is a little bit tedious. It's a little bit much. And it looks like I may get this out a half hour late tonight. So apologies in advance. I'm doing my best, though, to get it. I'm trying to get it by midnight, California time, every time. And I think I'm getting it out between 1 and 1:30 California time, but trying to get everything ready for your morning commute, for those of you who are commuting, and for those of you who are in other parts of the world, trying to get it out for you, because a lot of people I mean, within 5-10 minutes, I have like 4 people that listen right away. I mean, like immediately. And then within 6 hours, it always jumps to about 20 people. So I know a lot of you guys are relying on this for, I don't know, maybe jogging in the park, walking your baby. I don't know. But I have heard from several of you commuters, and so that's why I'm trying to get it out on time. Actually, I know a lot of people in California listen to this at night to relax, wind down, think about something other than their lives and the day they had. You know, so I get a lot. My twin flame, I hear him always like, when is your show going to be out? Because I'm getting tired and restless. And I'm like, it's going to be out really soon. And like last night, he told me, I can't listen until 2:30. And, you know, like 2:30 my time, you know, because he was doing the math. I'm like, okay, fine. And I don't even know my twin flame yet. I've had visions of him in my mind and his beautiful brown eyes, but he's not forthcoming yet. I'm hoping after Mercury goes direct, he'll give me a call. If you're listening, hint, hint, and you know who you are. Please. I have so many men suddenly super interested in me. My higher guidance is like, don't get entangled. Your guy is coming. Don't worry. Your twin is coming. Don't mess this up. And I'm like, yeah, but don't mess this up. But his eyes, don't mess this up. That's my higher guidance fighting with me. But he has such nice lips. Don't mess this up. But he's so sweet. Don't mess this up. But he wants to come visit me in 2 weeks. No. Twin flame. I want my twin flame so bad. Come into my life already. All right. All right. So I want to jump right into it, honestly. We're 99 on this scale, the Ascension Symptom Scale, or Scale of Ascension Symptoms. One way, the acronym is SAS, and the other way, the acronym is ASS. So possibly I should call it SAS instead. The symptoms, the scale of Ascension Symptoms. See, that's SAS, that's better. But yeah, we're like 99. We're like at the top, tippy top of all the possible things that we're going through right now as a collective whole. It's pretty intense lately, like today, just the tinnitus and the moodiness and the emotional stuff. And by the way, yeah, tomorrow is a new moon in Leo. That's what happens at 11:11. I think I just screwed that up already, saying that's when Mercury retrograde ends. No, it's when we're getting a new moon in Leo. Oh my God. It's like I get all this information in my head right before I do the show, and then I get it all jumbled up because, hello, Mercury retrograde and Ascension, all the things at once. Sorry about that, guys. No, but Mercury retrograde it kind of stops on August 1st, going backwards. It doesn't actually literally go backwards. It's just the way it appears to us in the sky. But it's going stationary, like just stopping entirely on August 1st. And then the next day, on the 2nd, it starts going forward again. Thank God. I'm so tired of the miscommunications. It's so irritating. All right. From disclosure.it, in Italy, they're talking about the Schumann resonance, and this is pretty interesting. They said at 1700 UTC time, today's closure was not properly complete. The activity returned with moderate peaks between 10 and 20 hertz at 5:30 yesterday, and again today from 4 UTC time, with movements that continued until 1400 UTC. During this period, there were 2 twin peaks. These are 2 twin peaks. Peak. Talking about miscommunication. See, it's not only me. During this period, there were 2 twin peaks at 34 hertz between 10 and 11. The hell does that mean, peak peaks? And then at 20:30 UTC time, they said just after midnight on the graph time in Tomsk, Tomsk, corresponding to 1700 UTC, or 17 UTC, I mean, sorry. Powerful activity began, which brought the amplitude initially to a peak of 40 hertz. Then between 19 and 20, oh wow, and then between 19 and 20 UTC at 69 hertz. So there we go. We have it a lot bigger suddenly in Italy. So that's nice to know. This I can't even say a magnetometer scale. Magnetometer. Holy crap, I can never say this word. Anyway, this website has been screwing up repeatedly. Oh, it's so hard. It keeps like resetting itself and then going back to like May and April. Again with the technology screw ups. It's like, I'm really not trying to program this into my world. I really am not. I expect it to work and then it doesn't and then I get irritated. All right. Let's see here. There we go. I think I might have just figured it out how to... No, I didn't. Dagnabbit. Oh, there we go. Oh, I did. Finally, after many weeks doing this this one. All right, where are we at? We have to go to the 30th, right? So, let's see. Yesterday, what did I report? Yesterday for Canada, it was 350 at its peak at midnight. And then it started going steadily down. All right, here we go. And away we go. All right, now on... We'll just start with California, I guess. Oh my God, why? Now it's acting like it didn't even... There we go. Maybe. You guys should really test out the Hard Math Institute magnetometer. All right, so I'm just going to say the midnight values just because this website is really screwing up. And it looks like it all goes steadily across, except Canada keeps going steadily down, Alberta. Okay, so California at midnight was 147 on the Schumann resonance scale. Hofuf, Saudi Arabia, was at 85 on the Ascension. Damn it. Can't even talk today. The Schumann resonance, Hertz frequency. So Hofuf, Saudi Arabia, was 85 Hertz frequency. Lithuania was at 203 Hertz frequency. But Alberta, Canada had gone down to 47 and it kept going farther down. Northland, New Zealand was 14 Hertz frequency. Not too bad, not too shabby for them. They got a little bit of a break from all this ascension symptoms. But in Hulului, South Africa, they were at 97. So let's see here if I could get a reading on that Canada one, because that was like literally going steadily down. Let's see if I could get it. Here we go. I figured it out finally. All right, so it looks like Lithuania did go up to 203. California was up to 147. Saudi Arabia remained around 85 range. Lithuania was 203. Canada went down to 37. New Zealand went down to 10. And South Africa went up to 97. But then at 4 in the morning, California was at 148. Saudi Arabia is still at 85. Lithuania was at 203. And then, now this is interesting, Alberta, Canada, and Northland, New Zealand both went down to 0, while Hulului, South Africa, went to 100. So anyway, that's a Schumann for today. All right, now in the Course in Miracles, we have lesson 52, which, as you recall, we're doing a review. And today's review covers these ideas. Lesson 6 was, I am upset because I see what is not there. Lesson 7 is, I see only the past. Lesson 8, my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. Lesson 9, I see nothing as it is now. And lesson 10, my thoughts do not mean anything. Now I'm going to read this last one, and you guys can go and look up lesson 52 on acim.org, or you could just download the app and read all of the lessons yourself if you are so inclined. But lesson 10 here is, my thoughts do not mean anything. I have no private thoughts, yet it is only private thoughts of which I am aware. What can these thoughts mean? They do not exist, and so they mean nothing. Yet my mind is part of creation and part of its creator. Would I not rather join the thinking of the universe than to obscure all that is really mine with my pitiful and meaningless quote-unquote private thoughts? It's rather rude, Jesus. Okay. I think he knows what he's talking about, though. But I think if you look into what he, if you keep looking into this, it all eventually makes sense. It sounds a little crazy at times, but there is a method to the madness that he, in which, the reasons why he created A Course in Miracles to begin with, and channeled it through the lady and Helen Schumann. Is that her? No, Schumacher. I can't remember right now. The ears in my head are ringing. I can't even speak. All right, my tinnitus is so loud right now. I swear to God, if I held the phone right up to my ear, you guys would hear it. It's that bad. I've been really upset because I was watching Orange is the New Black, which I love. I love that show. It's very well written, very clever, and everyone has their crazy idiosyncrasies, and it's just nonstop hilarity, except when it's not. And I'm not going to give any spoiler alerts in case you do like the show and you do watch a show and you haven't had a chance to binge watch it yet. But there's this part, a storyline, I'm not going to tell you who, but a couple of the original inmates from the beginning, they're now doing an immigration storyline. And it just broke my heart what just happened. I was like, oh my God. Even though, I don't know if season 7 is actually what happened. I know that in the beginning, at least, the book that sparked this whole show is real. It's about somebody's real experience in prison. And, and then the characters and everything that she created and wrote about, it's like those are real people. A lot of these incidences were real. Now, I don't know about the prison riot a few seasons ago. I don't know if that all happened, but it's such a good show. But it's just super over the top, though. Really, really over the top. But it's not, this season is kind of, except for, there's a couple things that are pretty good, but it's almost like last season where it's kind of more low key. There's some things that happen where you're like, oh my gosh, and then it's a good season. But the immigration storyline, it literally showed the people in cages. It shows people being mistreated. People being rounded up in bars, like in New York City, and they're just just herded like cattle, and people are like out and about without their IDs, and they can't prove that they're Americans or not. And 2 people get caught, and they're like, one of them had a green card, one of them was an American, and she's being deported because whatever, they don't really give a crap. And she didn't get a lawyer in time, and that was that. I mean, it's just, it's sad. It's reflecting what's actually going on. So I don't know, just pray for all the people that are in detention now just because they wanted to seek out a better life for themselves. And it's so arbitrary. Like, there's no actual lines in the sand, you know? And it's just a piece of paper. You don't have the right paper, then your life is shit. And it's just crap. I don't like at all what's going on in the U.S. right with that. You know, at least here in Ecuador, you're never called illegal. I was scared because actually my visa was expired, and it was because I was waiting in line, you know, and I had an 11-month waiting list. I was literally waiting 11 months, and I said, well, I feel bad because like I am now illegal because my visa expired while waiting for this appointment, and I know I might need to pay a fine or something. And they said, yeah, you do. And it was $788. And for my son, it was $0 because I made him be here, you know. And so thank God I have to pay for him too. And they said, so I said, I'm sorry that I'm illegal. And they said, no, Ecuador doesn't use that word. You're not illegal. You're just irregular. So we're going to make you regular by paying your fine, and then we're going to give you your visa. I cried. I was like, oh my God. I was so scared. I was so scared they were going to make me leave. And I love this country. It's become like my home. And I feel better here than I did in the U.S. A lot less tense, a lot less stressed out, a lot less of, you know, the ducking of the bullets type of thing. You know, it's just a lot better here. It's a lot more. I mean, when you hear guns going off, they're actually fireworks here. Versus in California, when you hear fireworks and then you realize it's a gunman, a shooter, you know. So it's all crazy. And by the way, you know, the police, they released the guy's name on the Gilroy Garlic Festival shooter. Now, of course, I forgot his name too. Legan, Legan was his last name, and he grew up in Gilroy his whole life. He was half Italian and half Iranian, but on his his Instagram and his Facebook, he had put some weird, mysterious references to a book from the 1800s that was pretty much like the KKK, like anything. I don't know. It was just. It was a racially motivated crime, and he was killed right away. And it was shocking because everyone that knew him, like people that had been his teachers for martial arts or whatever, said he was just like the sweetest person. He was really great. He was really, you know, like he excelled in school. He was just normal kid. And when his brother heard on the radio that the Garlic Festival, there was a shooter, he was, oh my God, he was so scared. Oh, I hope the shooter didn't shoot my brother. You know, I hope he's okay. I hope he survived that. And then come to find out it was his brother who was a shooter, and no, he did not survive. The police got him. So, and they're just shocked. They're just shocked. Like, overall, the family is a pretty good family. They're well known in Gilroy. They're just, you know, like no one had any problems with them, except one really weird article that I read was like the grandfather was accused of molesting his own daughter, and then he was after that acquitted. So that's kind of weird. Like, they're like, oh, and then but other than that, they were like a good family. Or they didn't say other than that. They said they were a good family. Like, I don't know. When you're accused of molestation, there's something, you know, there's always some truth behind it, right? So it kind of freaked me out a little bit. But I don't know, the whole thing is really weird. There's been all of these crazy shootings all over the world, and they're all to do about racism. So I don't know, guys, just my 2 cents worth. I wonder about this racially motivated shooting crap. I feel like maybe possibly it's not the person who's doing the shooting, but maybe they've been Manchurian candidates. I feel like there might be some kind of crazy brainwashing thing going on in some of these cases. Like with this kid, it doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. I don't know. Anyway, it's just food for thought, but, maybe he really was a wingnut. No one noticed. Maybe he was able to keep his crazy to himself until it was too late. That's what it sounds like anyway. Or maybe he got a phone call and they said a code word, and next thing you know, the plan was put into action. It sounds like a paranoid conspiracy theory, I know, but I mean, it has happened in history, so I don't know. All I could say is, before it was happening in mosques and temples, churches, now I'm thinking, don't go to frickin' festivals either. Maybe don't go to even places where there's going to be a big crowd. I'm sorry to say that, but I feel like, I don't know, how can we keep ourselves safe? I mean, living in my bedroom, that's how I'm going to keep myself safe, Of course, I'm in a whole other country, but this has happened not just in my country, that's happened all over, right? New Zealand, South Africa, I think Paris, right? So, all over the world this has happened. I don't know, guys. I just hope that the people that are sorting themselves out like that get fewer and fewer till there's none left. And we just have to keep focusing on the positive, keep focusing on the higher goal, the higher fifth dimension. That's our goal. Eyes on the prize, right? Keep ourselves, play music, shake that booty, that kind of thing, Have fun, smile, pet cats, and play frisbee with dogs. Hug babies and kiss your granny. Do anything that makes you happy. That's all we can do. Just keep going. Keep on keeping on. That's how we're going to get through any of this stuff. The crazies are always going to be crazy until they're not crazy anymore. That's all it is. Obviously, people are feeling disenfranchised, and they're obviously feeling really angry. I mean, actually, during the shooting, someone screamed at him, "Why are you doing this?" And he goes, "Because I'm angry." And then a couple seconds later, a cop shot him and killed him. So no one really knows why he did it. I think they should have incapacitated him, shoot his shooting arm, maybe his legs, so takes him down and his arm is, so he can't shoot anymore. And then question him and put him in jail. I don't know. Maybe he would have gotten out of jail and done the same thing again. He bought the gun in Nevada. He ordered it online and then drove all the way to Nevada and bought it. And he was, according to the gun shop owner, who's very sick about this happening, he said this kid was chipper and happy and he looked completely normal. And the gun he used was an AK-47 style, which is illegal in California. AK-47s are illegal in the United States, but this was an off-brand. Not the designer. Not the designer Russian original. You can't really buy a Kalashnikov in the U.S. I mean, you can, but it's illegal. It's crazy. It's just, the whole thing is nuts, but it's weird. So that was the new update on the Gilroy thing. I don't know. There's all these weird tragedies like that, right? And it's senseless and didn't have to happen. I don't know, maybe we should give counseling out to people who are feeling scared for whatever reason. You know, the white people, they're scared, they're outnumbered, oh my God. Instead of just accepting that everyone is like, we're all just people. I don't know what's up with that, but again, it could be a Manchurian candidate sort of thing. I don't know. They were checking guns at the gate. Anyone who looked like they were gang related or biker related or anything scary, they were turned away at the gate. You have to look respectable, I guess, in order to get in. And they had a fence all the way around. And this guy used wire cutters at the far end of the festival to get in with his AK-47-like gun. And so I guess they didn't have, dogs, touring the perimeter, dogs and cops touring the perimeter constantly. Next time, maybe they'll do that. Or maybe there won't be a next time. Maybe they'll just say, maybe we're not going to have a festival this year. I wonder about that now. That'd be sad, though, because it's a pretty good festival. I hear they have garlic ice cream. I don't think those are two things that should be put together. I really don't. But, oh well. All right. I'm going to come right back. And when I come back, I'm going to start with the star, the moon, and the sun cards in the Holy Tarot. If we could get through it, Judgment and the World, but I think we'll probably just do 3 tonight, and then we'll save Judgment and the World for next time. All right. If you're listening to this, you obviously like podcasts, and you probably like music too. Long walks on the beach, romantic dancing under the stars, and oh wait, we're not doing that right now. On Spotify, you can listen to all of that in one place for free, and you don't even need a premium account, which is cool. Free is always good. Spotify has a huge catalog of podcasts on every topic, including the one you're listening to right now. On Spotify, you can follow your favorite podcasts so you never miss an episode. Download episodes to listen to offline wherever you are, including your long romantic walks on the beach. Also, one thing I love about Spotify is that you can easily share what you're listening to with your friends via Spotify's integrations with the social platforms like Instagram. So that makes it really, really versatile. Just search for Metaphysical Soul Speak on the Spotify app or browse podcasts in the Your Library tab. And follow me, of course, don't forget, so that you'll never again miss an episode of Metaphysical Soul Speak. Spotify is the world's leading music streaming service, and now it can be your go-to for podcasts too. Thank you guys so much for supporting Metaphysical Soul Speak on Spotify. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you. Before we get into it, I wanted to tell you guys that tomorrow in North America, you are going to have a black moon. What the hell, right? What the hell? What black moon? All right, so what's a blue moon? Remember what a blue moon is? A blue moon is when you have 2 full moons during a month. A black moon is when you have 2 new moons during 1 month. So the second one during 1 month is called a black moon. I mean, we have blood moons, black moons, blue moons, super moons, and they look the same, like the same old moon to me. We've had the moons that were super close. I don't know. It's so, it says a black moon is really just a new moon. The only real significance is that it's the second one in a month. So you won't even see the moon, so basically what you see tomorrow, nothing. Not a darn thing. Because it's just going to blend right on into the sky. You're not going to see a moon tomorrow. But it's also going to be a super moon, which means it appears bigger than usual. So you're going to see a moon that appears bigger than usual, and yet it doesn't appear at all. Just because it's closer to the Earth at this time. So you're not going to see anything. But if you want to make it sound super cool, just call it a black super new moon. But the good news is you're going to be in luck because it will be a darker sky because the moon won't be out, and you could catch those meteor showers we were discussing a couple days ago. So I wanted to at least get that out of the way because I forgot to mention it earlier. All right, let's see here. Yeah, we finished with the tower. Now we're going to, whoops. Oh, let me see, tarot reference. All right, so we're going to, the star. This is a beautiful card. Oh, wait, I'm like totally on the wrong app. Oh my God. What is that song? I miss my mind. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Oh yeah, where's my mind? Geez, see? Mercury retrograde. It's like seriously getting to me. I think I need vitamins or something. I don't know. All right, we're going to look this up. Paul Foster Case Tarot. This is how I literally look this up. I look up Paul Foster Case Tarot deck. There we go, and it takes me to esotericmeanings.com. I'm waiting for that to load. It's so unbelievable. It's like, how could I forget this after several weeks of doing this exact same thing on Tuesdays? Oops. Tower, star. All right. Oh, what does the ibis mean? Oh, I forgot. I've got to look that up in a second. Okay, so the star card is card 17 in the Major Arcana. And what we have is a beautiful cobalt blue sky in the background, which refers back to the High Priestess. And we have the water. Again, with pouring of the water, she's pouring. There's a woman. She is naked and she has very beautiful flowy blonde hair going down to the ground when she's on her knees. It goes down to her knees basically. And she has a jar in her right hand and a jar in her left hand. Both jars she's pouring into the ground and also into a pond. She has her knee on the ground, which is the fertile grass, the greenery that you'll see in the Empress card. And you see her right foot coming out from her body at a right angle. That's significant. And her other leg does the same thing. But when you look at the way she is poised, that is Oh, dag now, but I think it's a peh, P-E-H letter in Hebrew. And so she's pouring, and it's like the will, like the red jars are like the will, and she's pouring out water, which is subconscious, into a pond, but also onto the earth. And so there's other clues, right? So water is related to Aquarius, and she looks very much like the Aquarius astrological sign. It's called the star, but yet above her head we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 white stars and 1 golden star, and that one has 8 points to it. So that can be related to a compass, finding your way. The sky is a cobalt blue, which relates, as I said, to the high priestess. And in the background, there's an Egyptian ibis to her right, to the left of the card. And he's sitting in a tree, and it's a red bird. And I think that does relate to one of the Egyptian gods. And then to her right, you see the purple mountain that is again reflected from the Fool card. Now, the reason why she's naked is because she symbolizes complete purity and innocence. And not only is she innocent, but she's also not ashamed anymore. She is 100% in the flow. She's flowing, literally flowing water out of her jars. So, are you glad I didn't say jugs there? I almost said jugs, and now I'm saying it. Oh my God. So inappropriate, Heyoka. So I'm going to go ahead and look up a couple things that I've forgotten. I'll be right back. I forgot to say the word back. All right, I'm back now. Okay, so I literally found Paul Foster Case's book. I can't believe it. It was someone typed the whole thing out and put it on the internet for free. Oh, the writing, the typing of it was atrocious. Okay, so the mountain peak is representative, the purple mountain peak. It means self-mastery. And as the woman of the star is half on land and half in the water, or mostly solid on land because she's practical, and her life is functioning fine, but she has one foot in her subconscious mind, meaning she is listening to the ethereal patterns of her intuition. She's connected. She's flowing like water, as I said before, through her life, with being both practical and also in tune with herself, her intuition. So the tree in the middle distance, Paul Foster Case writes, refers to the human nervous system, which occult diagrams often typify as a tree. The upper part of the tree is the brain. The trunk represents the spinal cord and the sympathetic nerves and ganglia. Okay, so that's pretty intense, right? Trees don't just mean just a random tree in the background of a tarot card, not if it's done right. Now, the bird perched in the branches is an ibis. See, I knew it was an ibis. Now, the Aquarius is related to, I want to say it's related to Nun, N-U-N, or Nun. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not Nun. I know this stuff. Okay, it's Tazadi. The Tazadi is the Hebrew letter that it corresponds to, and it means fish hook. And an ibis is a very famous bird in Egypt that is a very adept fisherman. The bird fishes a lot, and so that's also a clue. It is also a bird that is sacred to Thoth, Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice born. If you've ever heard of the Emerald Tablets, now you know who we're talking about because he wrote the Emerald Tablets. So he's also identified by the Greeks as Hermes and by the Romans as Mercury. Oh my God. Are you serious right now? That's what we're going over right now during Mercury retrograde. Okay. Thanks, universe. So the bird of Hermes reminds us that meditation is begun by and supervised by the self-conscious aspect of human personality. Mercury or Hermes, pictured in the tarot as key 1, he's the magician. So you see in the star is related back to the magician in the far distance, as well as the fool, he appears to be a fool, like he doesn't know what he's doing, but he does, because he's an adept starting his journey. Like we all did when we fell to Earth. We came to Earth however we got here. Well, obviously, I know how we got here, but there's other words for it, depending on who and what we were before we came here. That's a whole nother show. But basically, well, all right, let me get back to this. Basically, we are all spiritual souls on a human journey, but we're like spiritual, we're like souls, we're perfect. We know everything before we get here. Then the veil is pulled over us, and we don't remember anything. And now we're trying to wake up to all of what we didn't know, what we didn't remember, so that we can ascend, basically, and become ascended spiritual masters. All right. So it's cool that it's related to Tazadi, which means fish hook. Then there's a fisherman bird, and also, she's dealing with the lake or the little pond there, where there's probably fish. So it's very, I don't know how to say it. It's all very connected. All right. There's a bunch of stuff that I just can't really talk about from this because it just gets so deep. It's like talking about the cube of space and what face. She represents a face on the cube of space, not a line or a point. Anyway, this is related to ceremonial magic. And let's see, where else are we here? Okay. And there's something else in the Rotatory Meanings website. The key ideas behind this card is dawning of spiritual light, because that's where we are right now, actually, right? Connection with the celestial bodies, fishing in the sea of the consciousness, either the subconscious or the conscious mind, for insights, and also meditation. The affirmation, this is just their thing. So inner reading, what this means is basically insight, hope, spiritual practices that yield fruit. So meditating and actually hearing the voice of God would be the fruit of meditation. Spiritual love and cultivating the light inside your consciousness through the great work of studying the Holy Tarot. So basically, if you get this in a reading, it might be related directly to Thoth. It might be related to you're going to go fishing, or you're going to go into the deep mind to be a deep diver. As Ralph Smart says, you're a deep diver, and you're going to learn more about who you are. It's about the studies of that. The 7 stars around her, I believe, is the 7 chakras. The main yellow star is basically her soul, That's what I think. But, and then the compass points I mentioned earlier, it's not obvious that it could be that, but it could be how she is expanded in every direction. But there's a lot of different answers to it. They're not all super obvious, but let's see what else. I knew there was something with that bird in that tree, though. I knew that was something major. But anyway, she has found a complete harmony and balance between her soul, her subconscious, and her conscious minds. The ground that she sits upon solidly is literally, she's on solid ground. And yet she is 100% like connected both to the earth and to all of her chakras, all of her spirituality. And again, she has no shame. She's completely innocent in her being. She's happy. Now the moon, going right along to the moon card. All right, this is interesting because it looks like a sun when you first look at it. Then you realize it's the moon, and it's shining so bright that the rays of the moon are coming out. And then around that, we have these little flames again, just like in the tower. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I wanted to count. I knew it was 18. Just wanted to make sure. There's 18 because it is the 18th card. And they're the open hand of God. They're yods. They're like flames of desire and radiation coming from the moon, but it's reflecting the sun. Obviously, the moon card is related to Pisces, which is ruled by the moon, and the stars, as I mentioned, is Aquarius. I didn't mention that the devil was Capricorn and that the tower was Mars last week, but I'm mentioning it now. So what the moon card means, this is very interesting because, all right, you have a really strange creature. It's like a lobster crawling up, or a scorpion crawling up out of, I think it's a scorpion. I've seen it drawn as a lobster in some cards, but I think it's actually a scorpion. He's coming up out of the subconscious mind. That's related to Scorpio, I believe. And all around the edges of the banks of the river, there are it's like black grass just on the edges there. And that's like murky subconscious. It's ignorance. Okay. And so we have a very ancient creature that's not known for its intelligence crawling up out of the water. Okay. So that's, out of ignorance comes the truth, right? Eventually you come up out of ignorance. So there's rocks in the way. And he's trying to get onto the path. He's trying to get on up out of his ignorance. And you have the dog, which is like domesticated, and it's a beloved house pet on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side you have the wolf, the beast-like nature of man. And then the other side is the calm, loyal nature of man, that he's been on the path and he's more aware of who he is. And you've got the yellow road, the golden road that's being lit by the moon, goes on up into those mountains of mastery. And that's the path out of the muck and the mire, and the path out of ignorance, coming up out of the subconscious mind. Because if you live in the subconscious, you're just living by your knee-jerk reactions. You're not really aware of what you're doing, and you want to become aware. So you have to overcome your beast-like nature, which is the wolf, and you have to overcome that muck and the mire that we all start from. That means, back when we're asleep, we're not awake of what's going on. So now you've got this yellow road, and they're all on the green grass again. The sky is blue because it's night, and also it's the color of the high priestess's robes. So again, the subconscious patterns, but also the moon is illuminating it throughout the whole sky. The moon is a subconscious mind that reflects the conscious mind, the sun being the conscious mind, the moon being the subconscious mind. And it's reflecting in flames or yods, which is the open hand of God. It's the hand of God that gives to you and gives and gives and gives. You have your breath, you've got your life, you've got your body, you've got your health, you've got your friends and family. God gives and gives and gives and gives to you with an open hand. Now, all of this is between two towers, two castles. And those are achievements of man, and they're both identical. So what that could mean is that the wolf side is, sure, you can build stuff and still remain your beastly wild self, and you haven't learned anything at all about your spiritual nature. Or on the dog side, where he's basically domesticated, he's calm, he's loyal, he's a faithful companion, and he is not wild. He is in mastery of himself. He can keep his beastly nature down. He can master that. So he's aware. So it's like the aware side versus the unaware side of that. I'm sure you could come up with several examples of people that made it in this world and were able to build their castles or whatever, their empire of money. And half of them are maybe awake and maybe half of them are asleep. I'm sure you could come up with examples for both sides. All right, so key 18, the moon, in the rotatarot.com website, they say that the esoteric title is ruler of flux and reflux, child of the sons of the mighty. I wanted to read you, by the way, in the start, this is the daughter of the firmament, the dweller between the waters. So, daughter of the firmament, that means heaven is the firmament. She is 100% in tune with her higher nature. So in the moon, again, it's called the ruler of flux and reflux, child of the sons of the mighty. And it says it's the Hebrew letter Kof, which means the back of the head and the ear. The mystical attribution is Pisces, as I mentioned. And it is the corporeal intelligence. The path on the tree of life is Netzach to Malkuth. We're not going to go over that right now, or maybe later we'll go over that. What does that mean? I don't want to confuse you guys. Okay, the key ideas of the moon card is cellular consciousness. Each one of your cells has a consciousness. Also, confusion and strangeness. So in a reading, what the moon card means is a voluntary change or confusion or unknown enemies or deceit. So also can mean that you're operating out of your subconscious mind. You're not fully aware yet. You might be stuck in the muck and the mire of your subconscious mind, and you're not really acting out of any intense, powerful knowledge. You might just be living out of a knee-jerk reaction. So what that means is, like, if you were in a, let's see, I could give an example. So if you are a conscious parent and you have a child, and the child is acting up, say he's a 4 or 5-year-old and he's doing something he's not supposed to be doing, and you say, oh, you know what, I don't want you to do that because you can get hurt. These are the reasons that I don't want you to do that. And because I love you, I'm going to give you a new activity to do. And you redirect his attention. That's a normal conscious parenting. Now, an unconscious parent example would be to slap him in the hand and put him in the corner. And when he cries, you tell him to be quiet. And that's because your parents taught you that way. That's how they treated you when you did that. You know, so that would be like the example of living from a unconscious position. And it's easy to fall into our unconscious patterns that our parents gave us and those around us when we were little gave us. It's easy to slip back into that. So if you get that in a reading, it might mean that you are living and working and operating kind of in a state of hypnosis or unawareness, and you're kind of going day to day, like kind of on autopilot. And when something happens, you're just reacting, and there's no conscious effort, there's no thought to it. So that could mean it could be what it means in a reading, right? So let's see here. I'm looking in the Paul Foster casebook now to see if there's anything else we can add to this. There's a bunch of the cube talk and lines, and it gets confusing a little bit. The line can be traced around this and that. It's like, that's a little bit much. About the cube and the boundaries. It gets really deep metaphysics, and I don't want to go into it right now. Oh goodness. A bunch of gobbledygook. Sometimes when people use their voice to talk into a machine and then the words come up, sometimes they get super jumbled, and that's what happened here. It's obvious he used one of those, like Dragon Naturally Speaking or something. All right, so Key 18, the moon, symbolizes the fourth stage of spiritual unfoldment. After one has realized that the condition of bondage to appearances is but an illusion, when by the flash of spiritual illumination, false structures, which is Key 15, the tower of thought and action, have been God, it's like really bad typing. Overtly calm. There comes a piece of quiet. The calm follows the storm, and then during the revelations are revealed to us through meditation. So that's kind of what that means. Is just basically after the tower has been struck and we are kind of jolted awake, the calm that comes after all that is that meditation and deeper spiritual insights after we've gone through something freaking major, like a forest fire where we lose our home, or we go through a divorce and we lose our love and possibly our home. When we go through really major crap, the tower of our lives, where we're just like, and everything is just taken from us. That's when we turn to spirit. Takes us a moment, takes us a beat, but then we get into the rhythm of meditation, and that's when we start to rely on our own intuition. And that's what the star card is. And then the moon card is basically, I just got out of this thing. So the moon card is basically where we're kind of coming out of the muck and the mire. We're walking the yellow road between the two paths of, the loyal dog with a home, I don't know if you say it with a home, I don't know. It's kind of all related though, and you're kind of walking that middle path between being completely conscious, completely unconscious. You're just on that road, and you're kind of avoiding the trappings of all material illusion, because it looks like that little scorpion, he's going to come up out of the water and he's going to walk on that golden path. And as he does, he's going to transform himself into something greater than himself. All right, so basically, the moon card is just, it's related to Pisces. There's a lot of subconscious stuff there, a lot of the undercurrent, the undertow of what's going on as well. I don't know. My firstborn is a Pisces, and he's always been extremely secretive about everything in his mind, everything that he's going through. And I mean, it might take months to a year or two before he'll say, okay, remember that thing that you said or did that really bugged me? He's like, why did you hold on to it for so long? You know, we could have discussed it back then. That's not at all what I meant about when I said that. You took it real the wrong way. Oh, wow. Didn't have to spend 2 years being angry. Like, Pisces people tend to keep everything inside. They don't want to put anything from their inner life out because they're very mysterious. And it's no different with the moon card when you get it. There's mysteries. There's like I said, it could mean deceit. It could mean that there's something going on under the surface that you're not totally aware of. If you walk that middle path, though, and you know that you're surrounded by the love and light of God, and you're allowing your subconscious to reflect the consciousness of the sun, and you know that God always has that helping hand available to you, you have to learn to rely on that, on the universe. So there's a lot of this stuff going on under the surface. That's pretty much what that means in a reading. All right, let's go on to the Sun card, key 19 in rotatarot.com. This is what it says. The esoteric title of this is The Lord of the Fire of the World. The Sun, of course, is directly correspondent to the actual sun. And the Hebrew letter is Resh, means head and face. I don't know how it can mean both things at once, but apparently it does. The mystical attribution is the sun, gold, fruitfulness, and sterility. Yeah, did you guys know that if you keep something in the sun that's filled with germs, the sun will burn up the germs? Pretty weird, right? I mean, if it's still standing in water, more germs will be created. But if the sun can, if you dry your clothing in the sun, if there's any germs on your clothing after you wash them, then the sun will take out all the germs. It's pretty cool, right? So I think that's what they mean by sterility. You're not going to be sterile if you stand in the sun too long. You're just going to get burned. God, can you imagine how much money people would save if... Never mind. It was a pretty expensive operation when I had my tubes tied. So if I could only have just stood in front of the sun for long enough, I would have been sterile too. Just kidding. That doesn't happen. So this card is related to the collective intelligence. And it's the musical note is D. Color is orange. The key ideas of this card is countenance, brilliance, obviously because it's a sun, it's obviously very bright, authority, and leadership. If you get this card in a reading, it means accomplishment, bliss, success, love, happiness in life, satisfaction, gain, and liberation. So obviously it is a very powerful and positive card. So again, with the yods in the background, it's radiating from the sun. It's high in the sky, has a beautiful face on it that's calm and serene, and you could almost imagine that's the face of God, loving us, looking at us. The sun has been called a portal, obviously. What if it is a portal or a window with which God can look through to see us? That's an idea. Maybe not reality, but is an idea. Now, you see the cosmic radiation coming to us around you. There's like an aura around the sun where the sky is a pale blue, and just outside of it it's a darker blue. And there's a circle around the sun. Inside that circle, it's like a pale blue, and you see these white lines. That's the cosmic radiation that's always changing our DNA and upgrading us. And that's what gives us the ascension energy that speaks directly to our DNA. The sun itself has, curiously enough, it has these points. The sun rays are very stiff and rigid, but in between the stiff and rigid ones, you see that there are wavy ones. What that means is that light is both a particle and a wave. So it's pretty cool, right? So anytime you ever see one of these old-fashioned suns with a face on it, and you see that every other ray coming out of the sun is wavy, that means light is a wave. And where it's solid and stagnant, or not stagnant, but solid and rigid, where it's straight, that means it is a particle. Because light really is a packet full of information, but it's a wave as well as an actual packet, like an actual particle. And that's scientifically proven, which is pretty cool, right? People knew about that in esoteric metaphysical worlds before they even knew about that in the actual scientific worlds. Now, in this card, you're going to see a little boy and a little girl. They're innocent. They will eventually grow up to become the lovers in love. They're friends. They're holding hands. They're soulmates. They're twin flames. And they are dancing together. They're naked because they're embodied in their innocent selves, in their higher power. They are happy and joyful and innocent. They are dancing in a fairy ring because they are dancing in the esoteric realms that stand all around us. Okay, I'm going to look something up. This is very interesting. It looks like there's something written in the bricks behind them, but that's not. I just blew it up. There are sunflowers in this card, and there's 5 of them. That relates to our 5 senses: taste, touch, sight, hearing, and what's the other one? Taste. Oh yeah, smelling. Like, what are our 5 senses again? So the sun is putting off all of these rays, the cosmic rays, the light radiation, as well as the cosmic yodes, open hand of God. This time the yodes are red. And so that's a clue that God gives us our heart's desires. When we have a desire to do something in life, and it's very positive for us and around all those people around us. So if you have a desire to start dealing drugs, that's probably not a desire from God. It's probably a desire from, fear or your subconscious mind or negative people around you. But if you have a desire to become, say, a lawyer so that you could go and help immigrants with their visas and green cards and all that, then that desire would probably be coming directly from God, maybe from the sun even, to you. So that's kind of a clue that God gives us the desires that we have. Let's see what else. Oh, the wall behind them, the children that keeps them safe, is gray. The bricks are gray, which means wisdom. And so they're dancing in the fairy ring, innocent and joyful, and they know that they're surrounded by a wall of wisdom. Let's see if there's anything else I can think about. They each have 1 foot in the center of the fairy ring, and 1 foot in the outer part of the fairy ring. And that is a clue that they know they come from God. God is the no thing. The no thing is represented by the number 0, concept that directly came out of the Mayan people in Guatemala. We wouldn't have our math would not be nearly as interesting as it is if we had not been given the gift of the concept of 0 from the Mayan people. 0 is called nothing, but when you separate it out, it is the no thing. God is the no thing, and yet he is everything. So basically, like a particle in the wave, in a way. These children have come to Earth, and so that's what creates like the round circle with the line that's perpendicular to the circle. Their feet are making this. Oh, there's something else here hidden. There's a lot of stuff hidden in these cards, so I don't... There's something that their body, a shape that their bodies are making. Oh, what does that relate to? There's so much. So their hair is white and yellow. It is, they're taking in the golden light of the sun, just like in the star card. And so it's white, like the purity and innocence is reflected, but also with the golden light of the sun. These are like children of the sun. As opposed to children of the corn. That's not what we want to talk about. So, let's see what else. Looking and looking and looking. I had another tab open. I'm looking and see. Oops. I think I just let it go. Dagnabbit. So, alright. I'm going to give it back to this card. I'm trying to see if there's anything I could see in this card that I haven't already mentioned. Alright, so basically the sun card in a reading means that it stands for joy, bliss, happiness, beauty, being completely supported by the universe, being surrounded by your own wisdom, as well as being aware of the wisdom of the one true creator. You are able to play in the world as children again. Innocence and beauty, prosperity, honors, success, vitality. These are the words that come up when you get the sun card. Spiritual meaning, according to the Rider-Waite, is this is a time when you're very likely to be able to see the truth with a capital T about life. That there is a great deal of beauty, joy, and happiness to be found in this life. See, what did I just say? If you're looking hard enough and in the right places. So this is a great time to try different spiritual approaches for size to see if any of them work for you, basically. It's a sign that you will soon likely find yourself feeling more free, more beauty and joy and freedom than you have in a very, very long time, maybe years. It's a great time maybe to just go take a vacation and enjoy and experience life and all the world has to offer. So it's also about self-expression. Things would be going very, very well for you if you get the sun card. So let's see. I'm going to look up the meanings of the other cards that I did tonight just to see if there's anything I've missed. In the star card, it means tranquility, idealism, hope, and inspiration. In reading, you're in touch with your spirituality. It's a great time for you to reach out to others with your wisdom and joy. And your efforts in doing so will be repaid many times over. So it means you're in a good position to reap good karma, and that's always nice. The world needs your light and your happiness, so make it a point to let your light shine. And this card is a very good omen. You're inclined to be thinking positively. Things are working out for you, basically. Changes that you'd like to see in your life are easy to make. You could get anything that you want at this point. You got to think big, because big will be coming if that's what you think, right? Just don't be thinking about your ass. No. Don't be thinking about your ass at this time. Don't think big about that. I'm just kidding. I'm teasing. Or your stomach. Either way. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Hey, yoga shaman. But when it says like that, think big. Like, what do you want for your life? I mean, do you want a tiny house? Do you want a mansion? You know, whatever it is you want. If you want a tiny house, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Small carbon footprint and all. But maybe you want it on 1,000 acres of land, or 100 acres of land, or 10 acres of land versus a teeny tiny lot with a bunch of neighbors. You know, think big. What is big? If you want to go on a vacation, you want to go to a weekend to Vegas, or maybe you want to take a trip around the world. Think big. Manifest big. If you get the star card, it means that you can manifest big now. Let's see here. And then for the other card, I want to see if I've gotten it all. The moon. Now, it's all subconscious mind at the moon. It also can mean besides what I said, it can mean imagination, dreams, fantasy, and mystery. So it might be that things are confusing because you're not understanding clearly what things are. It could be like everything is like mysterious and fantastical to you, and maybe you're overlaying your subconscious meanings onto things that don't really function in reality world. It even says this card is the Pisces of the tarot deck. You have a hard time understanding where you're coming from, where others are coming from, what other people are thinking and feeling. You have no idea what's going on. You try to sit with uncertainty, but you shouldn't try to force things or people to do things before they're ready. It also means that you're going through a psychic and intuitive phase. As I did mention, she has her foot in her subconscious and intuitive mind. So even if you don't know where things are coming from, you have to trust your instincts and your psychic impressions. And it says also, not that you need to be mistrusting, but it will be helpful for you to realize when this card appears, it's possible that maybe not everything is what it seems. Go with your gut instinct. You know, like maybe that little dog you think you could trust is really a wolf that might bite you. You know, or that person you think is normal might be a wild man, you know. Not literally, but it might be someone who's like a narcissist or a sociopath or a psychopath. Someone who's not really having your best interest in mind. Could mean deception in that way. If you're waiting on an answer from someone, it might be, unfortunately, taking longer than you want it to. And it also means that you need to stay patient. On a spiritual level, it means it's a spiritual time and a great time to get a reading, healing work. I know it's like, if you get that in a reading, does that mean you're in a reading right now? That's kind of a silly description. But it's time for getting healing work done, or just getting other helpful input from your friends who are spiritual. You're more psychically open than any other time, more than usual now. Pay attention to thoughts and feelings and flashes of intuitive information that seemingly come out of nowhere. This is a good time to access the great spiritual books of the world, and you'll get more out of them than usual if you get the moon card in a reading. All right, guys. That's it. That's all I got for you tonight. Next week, we only have 2 more cards left to read, or to discover in the major arcana. And so I will have time to teach you how to read cards the way that I read cards. And based on last night's reading, you can tell, I mean, the word parsley is nowhere in any description in any tarot book at all. So I am operating like I am the Lady in the Star card. Okay, I wasn't naked, and I'm also not pouring jugs of water out everywhere. But I was deeply intuitive and highly sensitive to the one true voice of the Prime Creator. And I will teach you to the best of my ability how to do that. Gee, I'm really distracted suddenly out of nowhere. I look up and I have a shirt hanging from the handle of one of my, I don't know, do you guys do this where you wore a shirt for like an hour and you don't want to put it back in the drawer, but you also don't want to wash it in the laundry because you only wore it for like an hour? So I have a shirt like that. I look up and there's a little fairy face in the folds of the shirt, and it's like super obvious to me that a fairy has done that to smile. It's a smiling face. It's done that to, I didn't notice that before. Maybe it just happened when I was talking about the fairy ring. Things like this happen to me all the time. That's so cool. Hey, little guy. Either that or I'm just going completely crazy. I don't know. We're all mad here. This is a Mad Hatter. Anyway, I hope this is giving you insights. It's very deep and esoteric and very, very, very metaphysical. So it's all very cosmic, the way that I look into the cards, and they always have way more meaning to me than like what you can find in a book you get at Barnes & Noble, for example. Well, some of the books, I shouldn't say that, some of the books are really good, or the little booklets you get when you get the tarot cards just pretty much tell you what to quickly read for yourself or others. But if you get a good deck that has all the right symbols, your subconscious mind does not speak with words, it speaks with symbols. That's why the tarot is so powerful. So I'm going to teach you guys how to read the way that I read. And when you first start, if you haven't already done it like this, it's going to take a while, but you'll get the hang of it. I've been doing this for many, many years. Many, like 30 years, 33 years, something like that. So, all right. Yeah, in fact, number 33 came up for me today again, just like yesterday. There it came up just right now, so there it is. All right, well, that's all I gotta say about that, guys. I hope that you got some insights and meanings out of this. I don't know, I'm trying to think of anything else I can add to these, but I don't know. The star, the moon, and the sun. This seems like there was a good grouping, right? We'll come to Judgment and the World next time. And this is a very, very interesting last two cards. Key 21 and 22. Or no, 20 and 21. But technically 21 is the 22nd card because the Fool is 0, the no thing. Oh yeah, I think the children standing in the fairy ring in the no thing is also related to the Fool. They stand in their innocence, but they're surrounded by wisdom now. Whereas the Fool is an adept who's getting ready to lose all of his knowledge of the ethereal world. He's on a journey and he loves it, and he completely trusts and has faith in the universe. And these little kids have complete trust and faith in the universe because they're completely innocent, but they have complete wisdom as well. They're in touch with their 5 senses, and their 5 senses are guided by the one true will, the Prime Creator, because that is the sun, and these are sunflowers. So, anyway, that's all I gotta say about that. I love each and every one of you. If you have any ideas for upcoming shows or anything at all, comments, if you're confused about something I said, that's perfectly okay to ask me a question. metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com. You could also write me on Instagram at mermaidgirl888. Same thing with Twitter, mermaidgirl888. Or you can just look up #soulfamily, #soultribe. When I tweet, I a lot of times will put those hashtags so that you can find me. If you would like a tarot reading for yourself from me, my fee is $55, and it takes quite a long time, like 30 minutes to an hour depending. And I read, depending on what you want, 9 or 10 cards. Just write me at metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com and let me know what your questions are, or if you just want a complete life reading and you have to tell me what the theme of the reading is. Is it about your spirituality, your health, finances, career, career, business, work, or love life, twin flames? And I will talk to you directly from Prime Creator personally. So it's like a telepathic channeling, as well as a psychic reading, as well as a tarot itself reading. And also I hook you to the healing grid of the earth and send you Reiki the whole time I'm doing the reading directly. So it's much more than just a tarot reading. I hope that if you decided yet, just contact me, let me know, and we'll hash it out. We'll work it out. Anyway, I gotta sign off, guys. I'm tired. As you can tell, I've made a lot of mistakes tonight early on. Just saying one word, I meant another, and all right. So I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Until next time, peace. Chances are you've heard of CBD oil, but maybe you're a little afraid it might make you a little high or super drowsy. Possibly you're not going to pass mandatory drug testing at work. Am I right? Well, I found an amazing company. I'm including the link in this episode's description. Okay. This is derived from only the hemp plant. It does not contain THC, which is the factor in marijuana that makes you high. This CBD oil has been known to reverse aging, help you through weight loss issues. You will literally lose weight on our products if you want. Also reverses hair loss. It also helps you with things like insomnia, anxiety, pain in your muscles and joints, and it gives you benefits throughout your body with its high quality antioxidants. We even have a vape. Would you like to try the blueberry cheesecake? I know I would. I mean, there's so much danger with vaping these days, but not when it is only CBD oil. That's right. You could vape not only anytime you want, because it's not going to make you high, but it's also going to be healthy for you. How's that? Pretty cool, right? Well, go ahead and look in my episode description for my link. And, well, start using your CBD oil today. If you're interested in the business end of it, it's absolutely free to join. It's absolutely free every month, actually. I have never seen a business like this in all my life. So you can start, using your CBD oil, and you can start a brand new side hustle for yourself. Hey, As in, Heyoka Shaman approves of this message. I love you guys, and well, here's to your health.